Julia, and this is Beverly, and we're here to tell you about Pixvana. So Pixvana is a XR video startup based in Fremont, next to some very incredible restaurants, Manolin and Seawolf. So for those of you who are new to Seattle, I recommend you go check out that bakery and restaurant. Yeah, and come visit us. And what we're doing is we're building a video creation and delivery platform in the cloud for the emerging mediums of virtual, augmented, and mixed reality. And we have some exciting news, which is that we launched our V1 last Thursday. Yes, very exciting. And tomorrow at 3 p.m., you will see live on Steam their new 360 video player, which is powered by our SDK. So I recommend you check that out. They have 10 new pieces of content and a couple of pieces from our in-house production studio, which were created with the Sounders, Pacific Northwest Ballet, and Dan Colvin, who's a local artist. So to give you kind of broad picture of the industry landscape and where we are looking at solving problems with our platform, I wanted to just get a kind of a quick overview of the market before handing over to Beverly to talk more about our technology and some of the challenges that creators face when creating VR video. So here is sort of a brief overview of computing interfaces. We see the personal computer to the mobile device to a multi-sensory wearable. And this is an example of the HoloLens. And we are tackling video applications in each of those devices, and we believe that multi-sensory interfaces will be the kind of major sea change in technology over the next 20 years. The question for us is not if that's happening, it's when and how. And that's been something that we've been really thinking about a lot over the last year as we've developed our V1. So our platform is for XR storytelling. As Brett mentioned, we use the term XR to describe the entire spectrum of reality. And if any of you kind of want to seem cool when you're at a party with your friends, I recommend dropping XR into the conversation. We've been seeing a lot of people using that in Seattle over the last year, and it's a really great way to think about the entire industry as a whole. So these are some kind of examples of where you might see video applications in XR. We have an example of WebVR on the New York Times Daily 360, which are 360 videos that they publish on their homepage each day. We have AR mobile experiences and virtual reality immersive experiences in a headset, and also a mixed reality experience that would involve a volumetric capture of an image and bringing that digital experience into your physical environment. So this is to give you a picture of all the different types of 360 video cameras that exist today. It's very important to us to build a platform that's hardware agnostic. So we're supporting a variety of leading cameras and as well as headsets. And this is, I imagine most of you probably know, this is the hype cycle of technology adoption. So what we've kind of seen in the early 2014, 2015, 2016 is a very high investment in VR and this initial hype, and then a lot of people go to actually try a VR experience, and their hopes are dashed, they fall into a pit of despair, and that's kind of where we find ourselves out today, is coming out of that valley. And so the challenge that we find at Pixvana is how to think about how we want to move out of this perception that VR is a gimmick, because we do not believe it's a gimmick, and driving mass adoption. So this is kind of a nice quote from Werner Herzog, who's a documentary filmmaker, and he was asked about what is VR, why does it matter? And he said, the strange thing here is that normally in the history of culture, we have news stories and narrations, and then we start to develop a tool. You have the content first, and then the technology follows suit. In this case, we do have a technology, but we don't have any clear idea how to fill it with content. And so that's where Pixvana's product market fit really falls. We are building software tools to enable content creation because we know that content creation and content is what is going to drive VR adoption. That was really quick. All right, well, clearly we're going to go over time, but I definitely encourage everyone to come chat with us after and ask questions. I'll turn it over to you quickly.
No problem. Thanks, Julia. We will talk a little bit about what we launched last week. So one of the things we're trying to solve is these difficulties with creating VR video. Raise your hand if you tried to create VR video. Okay, so there's a couple of issues, right? You've got a really expensive camera, you've got probably 8 memory cards you're dealing with, you've got to stitch the content, you've got to edit the content and kind of do the color correction, horizon lines, and finally find a way to distribute the content. And that's what we're building with Spin Studio, which is our first product. It allows you to publish VR experiences, generate playlists, and kind of a VR format that will be shareable with other people in your network. So you can literally click a link and say, great, here, view my VR experience. And they can put on a headset and say, oh, awesome, thanks for sharing that. It's amazing. The other issue that we're dealing with in VR is a quality issue. So a lot of VR video is shot in 4K or below, and by the time it gets into your headset, it's been stretched, it's been kind of edited into a form that's really doesn't actually embody what the sense of VR is. You feel disconnected, it hurts your eyes, you take it off after 30 seconds, and you're like, oh, that was cool, but the technology is not quite there. So one of the things we're doing is creating a tiling solution which lets us stream the most high quality content exactly where your eyes are looking in the VR headset. And we call this field of view adaptive streaming. And this will allow content creators to shoot VR video in 12K and above, and allow your viewers to actually see and feel very immersed in the experience. Next adventures, we have right now support for Oculus or Octopus Rift. Who gets my joke? Oculus Rift and Vive, and we're quickly moving to Android and other other Android experiences. I know we're out of time. Please come talk to us after this. Please visit our website as well. As Julia mentioned, we launched very recently with Steam, so you can see our 360 player on their website. Download it, stream your 360 video there, and thank you very much.
One question, just for going over, but we'll give one question.
Thanks. Yes.
Yeah, I was going to ask, do y'all have any plans for web VR, like YouTube or anything like that?
Absolutely. So our player right now streams to your web browser. Within Spin Studio, you can say preview in the web browser, and you can see that right in the window on your screen. YouTube and Facebook are creating other kind of encoding and player SDKs that stream just dedicated to those sites. So ours is aimed at being more ubiquitous on the web.
All right, put your hands together for Pixvana.